Hey everybody out there in YouTube land, this is Wrecktitution from Wrecktitution Media, and before you freak out, it's a Hillary for Prison shirt, so just wanted to throw that out there. But anyways, I'm going to talk about a subject that has been kind of a little bit in the alternative media, with the whole rebel situation. Faith Goldie's been fired. Laura Southern, I guess, was fired, or she left or went on. Or Gavin's leaving soon. Brian Lilly left. Practically, they have these these guys that were not temps, but were only working there for a very short period of time that have kind of turned on them. This guy named Kalen and his boyfriend or whatnot, camera guy or whatnot. So. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with all that stuff, and I don't think it really mattered, to be honest with you. It's just the fact that a lot of people kind of came out and jumped on Rebel saying, oh, no, blah, 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 Rebel, blah, 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 it's dead now. And people were, I think there was a James Alsop guy was even declaring it dead and from 2017. Well, I don't think people realize that there isn't really a conservative outlet here in Canada that's kind of even close to mainstream. So the fact that the Rebel raised $1.5 million just without even talking about the stuff that went to charities, I think that's very impressive for something that's not getting state federal funding, like the CBC or CTV, for example. All these subsidized media outlets, and I really think that there's always going to be a demand for an outlet like Rebel Media in Canada. It's sad that they've lost a lot of good talent, but if they get better talent to replace that, it's or just as good. It's not hard in Canada. The left has gone so fucking crazy, where Trump's they can't make up the mind if either Trump is a commie Putin puppet or if he's the second inclination of Hitler. Incarnation, yes. That's what I meant to say, inclination, no. But it's ridiculous. It really is. And, it's easy to jump on, saying that Ezra, as some people have said, is starting to look like a shifty Jew, or that he really loves his lawyers. Well, hey, the liberals and the lefties, who don't have a lot of money, can easily get pro bono lawyers on their side that are activists. When you're trying to defend somebody on, let's say, Tommy Robinson, for example, on accusations of hate speech, you're going to want to make sure that you have a damn good lawyer on your side. I'm just saying. Let's be honest. With all the bias that the judges say that they don't have, but they do nowadays, it's something you need lawyers for. So I don't blame them for getting a legal representation. Also, they're a professional organization that's been involved in politics before, and anyone who's been involved with either the Conservative Party or any party in Canada, the first thing they do, I worked for the NDP for a bit, and I regret that now, but, the local riding were awesome people. I had no problem with them whatsoever. It's just the federal, once you find out the history of how they support the neo-Nazis in Ukraine, and how they want to push these bullshit carbon taxes that I went to the London meeting, and they had absolutely no idea how they were going to implement, or even what they were about, or whether or not they were going to do cap and trade or carbon tax. So, it just goes to show you how just reliant on the Tides Foundation to explain everything for them. And, there's definitely things that you have to kind of call out in that regards, but I never saw a week go by, or even a couple of days, where my inbox wasn't completely spammed by NDP trying to get campaigning stuff or getting you to sign a petition. That's how you crowdfund, and they've done it really well, because a lot of conservatives, they've done some studies here in Canada that conservatives they give a lot more money to, they have no problem if they have a lot of money to give, to support, obviously their own kind of pro-business, pro-conservative, viewpoints. And the fact that we don't really have that here in Canada. We have non-statists. We have Press for Truth. We got the Winnipeg, I think it's, or World Alternative Media. Yeah, because Winnipeg Alternative Media is run by a different guy now, I think, who's more focused on kind of free man issues and stuff like that, which, good guy and stuff if you're into that. But I mean, there really isn't a mainstream kind of like conservative outlet here in Canada that people will flock to. There's a couple papers, but that has a few people like commenters in their options things. But when it comes down to the new media, a lot of people were relying on Rebel Media. And I mean, even if Rebel Media does fail, I mean, there's gonna be something that comes up in its place which will eventually fill the mantle. So that's why I'm a little, I can understand that, we can't just give an organization a pass if they do some shady business dealings. But I mean, if you were to compare it to just the shady business dealings, let's say of CBC, which has done many different corrupt and questionable things in the past, by like millions of dollars to David Suzuki, and practically pushing this whole 97% consensus global warming bullshit. And a lot of other things too. I mean, when you look at just I was looking at like No Bullshit, and they kind of like criticize the Rebel and whatnot. But I mean, the Rebel disclosed their full financial information for this year, and I commend them for that. And they also showed a video of that Kalen guy talking about beforehand how he went into debt and used a bunch of people's money to get famous on Facebook. I didn't even know that was a thing. So I mean, it's starting to look more that the people that are actually trying to cause the most shit at the Rebel are the ones that obviously are doing it because they want they want money out of Ezra. And I mean, it's pretty apparent to see that, they had no access to the actual financial records of what was going on at the Rebel. They were over the UK from what's been said allegedly. I mean, we may never know the actual truth of what actually happened at the Rebel and who's at fault and who's, covering their ass for hush money, which, I mean, I don't think Ezra should have called it hush money, but I mean, he was there. They wanted hush money, so he was there. Here's your hush money, He didn't think that they were going to tape the whole conversation, which they did, which goes to show you that they were looking for anything that they could to go after, and then they just using some bullcrap saying something that they're going to release something that Tommy Robinson said. Well, release it, because I'm really starting to question the credibility of these two fucking clowns, and it has nothing to do with the fact that they're gay. I mean, there's plenty of people that are fucking gay in the media, media industry. It's not a big deal. But what is a big deal is when you don't do your fucking job. So I mean, if you're gonna get fired and then whine about it and say, "Oh no, we have all this damning information," you have to, it's really looking like, in my opinion, I may be wrong, but it looks like they're a bunch of money grubbing assholes that are trying to rip Ezra off because they know he's a Jew with a lot of money. And I mean, I don't see Ezra as the shifty Jew, as No Bullshit happened to try to call him out for. I mean, they just did another live stream with a few other people about 6 hours ago. I noticed. I was watching a little bit of it, and they're kind of like talking about how Ezra kind of released a few things, and there's been a little bit more developing in the story. Of course, they had to get in there and be like, "Oh, those Rebel fans that like Gavin McInnes and now he's gone." Well, you know what? They'll go with Gavin, then they'll go with Gavin. But there's gonna be a need for an organization in Canada that doesn't follow the bullshit, brainwashed left paradigm of the fucking CBC and CTV. That's apparent, And I mean, people can be jealous of the fact that they raised a lot of money through crowdfunding, but I don't see the problem in it. I mean, it's not state run. It's people that are willingly giving like $20, $30 here and there. If it gets annoying, then you can always just, oh my god, get off their fucking mailing list. It's not a fucking huge problem, it's not as if they're like, sitting right next to you as soon as you get paid from your job or whatnot at the bank, being like, hey man, support independent media. You don't want CBC to run the narrative, do you? Come on, buddy, just give me $50, and then I won't bug you for another week. It'll be all good. Yeah, we got merchandise if you want to buy it. Yeah, that's good. No good for a fat ass like me, who's bigger than 2 times X, but but hey, at least they're doing their thing and selling merchandise. I mean, everybody has a thing that they do to make money when they're trying to, especially like other outlets out there that are trying to go like around to different places where the stories are to report on them for investigative reporting and stuff. So I don't really see what the whole big problem is with Rebel. They're either gonna recover and be like the Phoenix and rise from the ashes, or they will, eventually nobody will pay attention as much to them and they will, disappear. But that's what every single liberal and like fucking progressive social justice warrior politician in Canada wants. It's not gonna happen. There's always gonna be somebody that sets up and be like, nah, you guys are going a little too lefty and bullshit right now. When you're trying to say that milk was racist, or the fucking AOK fucking signature or like sign is racist, or like, oh my fucking god, it's ridiculous now. The eclipse is racist now, apparently. All these Democrats taking down their Democrat statues from all the Civil War. Well. But anyways, despite the insanity, I just wanted to put my 2 cents in there in the whole Rebel media situation. I think it's great that, like Faith Goldie is gone. Everyone's going to be doing their own kind of different projects and stuff like that now, getting away from the Rebel. And that's fine. I mean, when you keep a lot of A-type personalities trying to do their own thing and trying to keep it all kind of to one narrative, it's hard to do. There's like Faith Goldie wanted to go out there and get the talk to white nationalists, and I listened to the interview where she got fired for it. I think it's a shame. I mean, she was just trying to get an open dialogue between like conservatives and white nationalists, to find out the different similarities and of the fact that they are having to deal with all this like cultural Marxist propaganda and stuff, which is true, and they try to say that Trump is mentally handicapped for pointing out there were both sides to Charleston. Yeah, there were neo-Nazis, but there's also crazy fucking communist Marxists that, trying to create their own revolution from their mom's basement. So, I mean, there's a lot to be said about the fact that it's, for everything that the Rebel you may not agree with, there's plenty of things that the Rebel is there for that I do agree with, that needs to be there. We need people to report on the fact that, you got these economic migrants that are coming to Canada expecting all this free shit and then say that it's just as bad as Guantanamo fucking Bay. Or they say, like in London, for example, they get their room and board paid for, but because the food's not authentic Middle Eastern, apparently it was a lot better conditions in Syria. So I say, fucking ship them back then, if that's the fucking case. Let's be honest with you. The media talks about how bad fucking Trump is. Yeah, alright, Goldman Sachs backed him. That's not a good sign. His fact that he's surrounded by a bunch of globalist assholes who didn't even let him know that Arpaio was gonna get fucking hung out to dry. I mean, it just finds out about it and is like, nope, we're not having that. We're gonna pardon him. And then, he's got Kelly, he's got all these fucking idiots around him that are, like his generals that are being total twits. Flynn should never have stepped down, Guy was a goddamn rock star for calling out Obama's funding of Al-Qaeda and ISIS. And even the Democratic Democratic representative from Hawaii has even came out and said, no, Obama funded ISIS. No, the Fed is fucking evil and we need to audit it. And I give that Democratic, that lady, the fucking props that she deserves, because she's probably one of the only few people in the Democratic Party that's not Maxine Waters, who, impeach 45, impeach 45, impeach 45, George Bush is, Trump has got to go. That's practically what these fucking people are. They're just a broken record playing over and over and over again. Hillary Clinton, oh no, why did I lose? I blame everybody else except for me for all the crazy corrupt shit that I've done. So, it just goes to show you, it's so easy to be the conservative voice nowadays, and I'm not even really right. I don't even, I've never considered myself a right-winger before this whole Trump movement kind of came in. I was always more classical liberal, kind of middle centrist, if you can call it that. And here in Canada, it's really hard to go for a party because they all bring in one form or another of globalist UN agenda policies, whether it's privatization, selling public assets, whether it's giving into these ridiculous and lucrative trade deals that have been talked secretly behind closed doors for many years and have completely offset the manufacturing of North America to, like cheap-ass countries like China that has the cheap production. And, I mean, people think it's completely normal now that it's okay to offload your company to China and do the cheap shipping costs, because we've created that, through these trade deals. It was designed to suck the manufacturing jobs, and people have been calling it out since the 80s. And so I'm so happy that Trump, the fact that he has put a huge blow to the TPP, because they were heavily resulting on the U.S. to be just throwing out billions of fucking dollars of money, practically, and taking all these losses in trade. And you look at that with NAFTA, you look at that with the TPP, what they were trying to push, and this whole Paris climate deal where they wanted the U.S. to give billions of dollars to China, even though the U.S. has shut down a lot of their cleaner coal plants, as opposed to China, which just created all these coal plants and didn't give a shit about putting scrubbers on them because that would cost too much. So when you see all these commercials where it's wonderful China and the air is all clear, you know that it's totally fake, and probably that background was just a little edited for the kind of a nice little touristy feel, So we're always going to need independent, alternative media outlets out there. So I have no problem with the Rebel. Their issues, either internally or whatnot, is really of no consequence right now, because they're not taking millions or billions of dollars from George Soros or other entities out there that are trying to promote or push their own agenda. Yes, they're trying to promote Christian values. They're trying to, promote the Western. They're against the whole ridiculous Islamification of legal systems and stuff, because I don't believe that Sharia law has any place in Western society, especially in their law systems. Pro-business. There's just so many different things that they've been speaking out against, especially the third wave feminism. And those things, a lot of issues out there. There's a lot of people, I'm sure, that they can agree on the stuff that the Rebel has reported on. So, they're not all that bad. And I can actually watch the Rebel, see the bias that they're presenting, but see that they're actually doing it in a newsworthy manner, that they're actually presenting their viewpoint in a kind of in a way where it doesn't come across as just total propaganda. I watch CNN, or you watch ABC, NBC, MSNBC, CBC, CTV, and the when they pick on a news, let's say if they're talking about Trump, well, it's always going to be bad things about Trump. It's never going to be good things about Trump, And I notice even Trump loyalists, the ones that have that were following him from the beginning, that were supported him and voted for him, even they are starting to have some criticisms that are legit criticisms. I don't see the CBC and the CTV legitimately criticizing Trudeau. So you really have to take the different points that are being presented and realize that that there is a need, that we are anemic in Canada for conservative ideas. You have so many different disproportionate media outlets out there. And I have no problem with local news. Local news, they tell you practically just the weather, the sports, what's going on with the traffic, just the basic stuff, car accident here, stuff like that. So if you're going to work, then you need to maybe plan an alternative route or whatnot. That stuff is informative. It has a place in society. But the national news of those kind of CTV affiliates or global or you name it, and it's all propaganda, it's all fucking bullshit. So I can watch plenty of the Rebel and know that where it's coming from, but when I see the media trying to come across as a neutral, objective viewpoint, but yet they're pushing all this bullshit and left fucking the wage gap myth and all this epidemic of college rape, even though like 54% of colleges in the U.S. and universities in the U.S. reported absolutely no cases of rape whatsoever. I mean, hey, we can all agree rape is bad, but making it so that every white fucking person is a potential rapist, or it's ridiculous. It's getting to a point where the insanity has just gotten to such a point where it's laughable at best. So, yeah, I mean, that's why I didn't say anything about the Rebel, because I wanted to, I'm glad that, Ezra released his financial information for the disclosure. And I'm also glad that they found the video showing that Kalen is a money-grubbing piece of shit. So I don't care if he's gay or not. He's just, obviously, he beforehand has a history of taking other people's money and living lavishly and not giving a shit about it, which, in the UK, the highest taxed fucking people in the fucking world, any kind of that kind of symbol of, oh, I'm so posh and decadent, should be fucking made fun and called out for what it fucking is. Total fucking waste of fucking bullshit. Trying to raise your fucking Facebook status? We'll go out and actually do some fucking real work to get people's fucking minds opened up and actually have them thinking about different ways that they probably wouldn't be thinking about before if they were watching, the mainstream fucking narrative. That's what it comes down to. So, I mean, I don't see what the whole fucking point in getting all pissed off about the Rebel and saying that, oh, they're dead now. Because you can't kill the possibility of a conservative voice or media outlet out there in Canada. We're starved of it here in Canada. And as much as they try to make us the next fucking Sweden, it's not going to happen. There's a lot of Canadians that are like, wait a second here. We're giving, like, free houses and, like, all this free shit to people that are coming over here and complaining about it when we have fucking, boil water advisories and, like, northern fucking villages and townships and shit like that, or, like, fucking... veterans that aren't getting properly taken care of, or homeless people here in Canada that aren't getting, or the fact that the hydro costs have gone up ridiculously. And I think the Rebel has done a great job at pissing off Kathleen Wynne, and the more they do, the more I fucking think the Rebel should be around. They have every right to be out there as my channel, your channel, any other channel out there. It's really kind of disingenuous to go after them. Hey, they may be imploding, and you can note that. It's not wrong to report on the fact about that, but to say that that they are purposely doing, shady things, or, it's disingenuous when you look at just the fact that almost, like, half of the mainstream media puppets out there, especially in the States, are controlled by have their party loyalties. So, I mean... Once you find out who people support and who they've supported in the past and where the money's coming from, then it's obvious to see that, the mainstream media overall, compared to alternative media, is about 100 times more fucking corrupt and colluding than any narrative that the alternative media can come up with. And, they can call it fear-mongering all they want, but reporting on the fact that there is actual fucking shit that's going on, actual backlash culturally, the fact that Jewish kids are getting picked on by, these fucking, kids that have been told that, being raised Muslim, that Jews are the great evil and stuff like that. And I have no problem with people and their religion or their race or their sexuality. I don't give a shit about any of that. All I care about is that, the facts that are out there that can sway the narrative from what's being shoved down our throats, the brainwashing of the mainstream media, is being offset by these groups out there that come and show you what's actually going on in a lot of cases. And so the same YouTube channels that I kind of thought were kind of ridiculous for going after the Rebel so quick without getting all the information, perchance, I still love the content that they make when it comes to criticizing the same shit that the Rebel's been criticizing on one way or another. It's just, oh no, the Rebel's Christian. Could that possibly be, or Jewish? God forbid they put a religious thing on there and make all the atheists fucking, they have a right to be out there, and I don't have a problem with that. As long as they keep reporting on the shit that is easy to report on and gets people's attention and wakes people up that are fucking brainwashed normies, the better. And so, yeah, alright, you can talk about the fact that they may have some internal problems and shit like that, but I have no problem with the fact that if they get better, like, more reporters or better reporters, then that'll give them a chance for them to get noticed, for them to go on and do great things and get an audience, so to say that the Rebel's down and out is just way too soon and way too vicious of an attack in my opinion. But that's just me. I'm just some, disabled, crippled ass dude with a screwed up spine who's trying to do the best he can just talking into a webcam. So, I mean, ultimately, I've only got, maybe less than 30 subscribers right now in the past, since I've started. But I don't really care about that because, well, on YouTube, the more people that actually notice you, you're probably putting a fucking giant red target on your back anyways. But, I'm not looking into making money out of this. Sometimes I give some, advertisement mention to my grandparents' button making business to help them out, because you can make custom buttons and cool designs and fridge magnets and shit like that. But I'm not in this to make money. I'm not getting a penny from them, and they haven't gotten one order yet, so I don't really think that even considers advertisement. I'm just trying to help them out there. But I don't really care. I'm happy where I am talking into this thing. For the people that do listen to me for this long, like I said, you deserve a damn medal. So maybe if I did ever get a lot of subscribers or whatnot, I'd start giving little medallions to my subscribers. No, I'm joking. For putting up with all the bullshit now. But at least I'm honest out there. I'll try to do the best I can. So, that's just my opinion, my viewpoint on the whole Rebel situation. Hopefully they recover. People are still going to watch. I'm still going to watch their videos. When Gavin leaves, I'll still watch his videos wherever Gavin goes. There's multiple different platforms that I watch, that I like watching, that have good points. That's why I love the alternative media, is that it's just, you get perspectives that you would not get for the mainstream media. Mainstream media, it's how do we package this 15-minute segment into sports, weather, what's going on for the weekend, what kind of things are going on kind of thing, and then Trump is evil, blah, 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 and push the narrative, blah, 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 for a very short period of time. They don't give you enough time to actually talk about both sides of an issue. They may talk about something about trade, they may talk about something about what's going on in Parliament, about something controversial someone said, but it's never given equal opportunity for both sides to explain their argument. You do every now and then, but it's usually just the most basic crap that doesn't really affect or have any bearing on society to begin with. So, anyways, I'm going to leave it at that because I tend to go on for a long period of time. So, I just kind of a little bit of condemnation for the different channels out there who I love and respect, No Bullshit and Press for Truth and Allsup and a few other ones I was watching too that were criticizing the Rebel. And, hey, it's good to bring that attention that there is problems in the Rebel, because to say that everything is fine, hunky-dory, and, would be bullshit and would be erroneous at best. But to kind of say that, oh no, it's the end, they're going to throw in the towel, and that they're this horrid organization and they don't deserve to be there because of the shifty Jew, that's disingenuous. It's kind of bullshit, because I think that everybody has a right to exist, and I don't believe in that anybody should be shut down, or unless they are being completely deceptive in their practices. And as you can see, all the charity going towards the cases that Ezra Levant has said that they've gone to, looked on their website and whatnot, and things seem to check out to me. Like I said, I'm not into the finance. It could all be bullshit, but it looks like if you're going to take that effort to release your financial transactions, and you have people out there, when you're being criticized by the CBC, by every mainstream media outlet out there as fucking a pro-neo-Nazi outlet, when your fucking CEO, the guy who runs the fucking thing, is a fucking Jew who supports Israel 110%, there's gonna be a need for the Rebel. So, keep on rocking in the free world as long as it stays free, and that's pretty much my rant on that. So, take care and keep on rocking in the supposed free world.